You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of indeterminate length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, the 13th day of August, 2018. So glad to have you with us today. I hope you had a great weekend. I'm sure you spent quality time with the family. I saw you in church yesterday, always good. Now, got a chart up, S&P 500. I hope you can see it. If you can't see it, we can fix it. By the way, if you're returning, welcome back. And if you happen to be here for the first time, a special welcome to you. We have some lovely parting gifts at the end of the show. No, we don't. But anyway, we are glad you're here. Now, about that chart, if you can't see it, go to the home page, CFRN.net, right-hand side of the page. Right, that's the hand most people write with. Exactly, that's why they call it the right hand. Boy. Now, on the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. 30 seconds, you'll be registered through the end of the month. You only register once per month, and that gives you one-click access to the show each and every day. We dual stream at youtube.com/CFRN/live. So if for some reason the go-to won't get up and go on any given day, just go on over to that bookmarked page at youtube.com/CFRN/live, and well, there you go. There's your one-click access. All right. Okie doke. Now, interestingly enough, no major economic news out today. Last night in the Logic channel, I talked about the fact that there was no economic news to drive the market, that in fact we only tonight at, I believe, 10 p.m. Eastern, I'll double check that, China does have a high impact report. So if you're trading the Asian session, it's high impact, it's China, it's some kind of industrial production numbers. I'll look it up in a minute for you. But it's, if you're in the channel, you can read what I had posted last night. And we need to take a look and see what's on slate for the rest of the week as far as economic news. Not because we trade news, we don't. We avoid news like the plague. That's how we do news. Just go flat, walk the dog, make a sandwich. When the market goes back to its normal rhythm, plain vanilla. We don't like sherbets or sprinkles. We want plain vanilla. And news kind of interrupts that sometimes. Not so much anymore. In fact, news is just, it's hard to figure. Good news, it can go up. Good news, it can go down. That sounds like gambling to me. So unless you have some additional definable edge, or, you know, you're the great-grandson of Les Nessman. I have a picture of Les on my desk. Yeah, it's true. No, it's not. All right. So what happened on this S&P last night, since I made you go to all that trouble just to look at it? Well, we had a Concierge Trade Alert that said if you get the opportunity, you would like to sell 28.23. That dropped 2.5 points onto the let's see, you know, I'm growing wary of this typing the CTA over and over. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show it to you because I don't know I don't know how you roll, you know, really. Some of you I do. In fact, I've rolled with some of you. 28.23. Let me show you something. Now, you may already have this, you may already know about this, you could probably school me on this, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. So, if you sold 28.23, the market made 2.5 points available, right? Where, you know, what you did with this would be, you know, predicated by the placement of your stop loss. So, let me show you this. Let me show you this one thing. Not that one. How about this one? Okay. Watch what I'm going to type. Text expander. Now what could that be? Text expander. Ooh, communicate smarter? Say it ain't so, Joe. Well, that's one way to light up those phone lines, is try to do radio. Okay, you got to do this whole privacy, consent, blah blah. Now, you can try it for free. What does it do? What does it do? Text Expander lets you instantly insert snippets of text from a repository of emails, boilerplate, and other content as you type, using a quick search or abbreviation. For instance, I wonder if they got a place where they let you play with it. Try it. Okay. I better use one of those other voices in my head. What do you think? This is worrisome. I get so... See right here, what I'm having to do? Totally uncalled for. There's no reason for a person of my stature, whatever that is, to have to repeatedly type the same thing over and over again and again all the live long day. You know, I don't know. I've had it. I used this once before, which means I may have just did all that for nothing, and it's going to boot me back out. Let's see. Oh, sure, why not? Seriously? All right. The old email verification. Because that's how they roll. And it's not here yet. Okay. So let me tell you how this goes down. Now, I just had to type a password that is, let's see, "12 characters long." You got your numerics, you got your caps, you know what I'm saying? The way you got to do nowadays. Now, those 12 characters, if I'm going to a site I've been to before, then my last pass takes care of me, okay? It logs me right into the site. I don't even have to think twice about it. But if I'm going to a new site like this, I gotta give them all the info and I gotta get the password in. I could, using this text expander, which just lives down on your, system tray, doesn't take up much space, much room, you never know it's there, until I could hit, as an example, I could type Alt PW. Now that's 3 characters instead of 12. Guess what text expander is going to do if I type Alt PW? You're right. The password that I have given it, it's going to put it right in the field. Right in the field. Now on the chart where I often type last week's weekly trading zones, Alt LW, last week's zones, boom, like that. Alt B would be a CTA buy. Alt S would be, well, I wish they'd send me my little, oh, they're not. They're dragging their heels. They're running behind. They're backed up. Can't get out of their own way. It really should be here by now. All things considered. Alright, well, let's come back to it. Maybe they show an example. Oh, just resend the email. Let's get on with this business of text expanding. It's really simple to use. There's no huge learning curve. Oh, start over. Who knows? Maybe I'm already in the system. Maybe that's the hang up. Well, if that email comes, should it deign to show up? Text expander. I don't know how I want to do it. Okay, quick start. Okay. All right, you install the app. Boop, 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 boop. Create snippets while you learn. Sign into the app. Take a look at the welcome window. Okay. And you can set up command on a Mac, control plus on the Windows. You really should go there and take a look at it yourself, because it would just take me forever to explain it all. But it really does make your, if you type a lot, and if you type the same thing a lot, for instance, your address, there's just so many things that you find yourself hammering out again and again. And you have a little cheat sheet by your keyboard until you have them fully memorized. But Alt PW, I mean, anytime I want that one password I use a lot, Alt PW, Alt PW, Alt PW. Don't got to do the caps, got to do the number, it just, I'm trying to remember why. I think there was a security issue is the reason I stopped using it. Because when it was time to upgrade, or maybe my free trial was over, that might be what it was. They started talking about how they would have access to everything I typed, and that started to sound a bit like a keylogger, and I don't want no part of that. However, this is a very reputable company, and one of the guy I learned about it from, Merlin Mann, from Back to Work. He swears by it. So, you know, if it's good enough for Merlin, wow, I'll take some of that. All right. So now that I managed to show you absolutely nothing.
What is a text expander snippet? A few simple keystrokes automatically expand your words, paragraphs, or even whole messages with images.
Now you get the idea. Okay. So go to there and take a free trial. Free's good. I checked. And at least for 30 days you can play around with it. And I think you're going to like it. It could make you a more productive human being. Is that really possible? I don't know. Hey, how about those seeds? Can you remember your seed? Why not build a memory palace and lock your crypto away from fire and thieves? In his 2011 book, Moonwalking with Einstein, no, that was not written by Michael Jackson, The Art and Science of Remembering Everything, Joshua Ford details the astonishing exploits of mental athletes. The author embarks on a year-long quest to improve his memory with the help of professionals, the best of whom can memorize a deck of cards in under 30 seconds. Now, show me the money, okay? Memorize an entire deck of cards, that's 52, in 30 seconds. I'm going to have to ask John about this because he has almost, pretty close to, he could be categorized as having a photographic memory. The secret to the feat is the construction of a memory palace, a visual technique that was practiced by the ancient Greeks and Romans before they even had text expander. You see where I'm going here? This mnemonic method calls for creating an imaginary location in your mind where you can store images. The most common type of memory palace involves making a journey through a place you know well, like a building or town. Along that journey, there are specific locations that you always visit in the same order. The technique can be used to memorize extremely long numbers and phrases. In 2005, Lu Chao, for example, recited pi to 67,890 places. That's just freaky. Memorizing a 12 or 24 word seed in comparison should be child's play, and it doesn't call for incredible mental athleticism. Even if you're the sort of person who struggles to recall where you left your pants, your keys, you forget birthdays, committing a dozen words to memory should be within your grasp thanks to the highly visual technique involved. So you ask, how do I create this memory palace? The title of Joshua Ford's book, Moonwalking with Einstein, is a reference to one of the bizarre mental images he used as part of his mental journey to stash and then later retrieve a particular item. The more unusual the image you conjure, the better your chances of recalling it when required. As an example of how this might work in practice, let's take the 12-word wallet seed cited on the Bitcoin Wiki: which, collapse, practice, feed, shame, open, despair, creek, road, again, ice, least. Give me a week and I might. The particular palace we'll choose for this exercise is your childhood home. If you moved around a lot, pick one. Picture it in your head: the color of the front door, the scent of the hallway, the layout of the rooms. Now, with that imagery at the forefront of your mind, prepare to revisit your home with your wallet seed in tow. As you walk up the path, you hear a shriek and, looking up, see a witch upon a broomstick fall out of the sky and collapse onto the doormat. Now remember, let me give you the phrase one more time. The 12-word wallet seed: which, collapse, practice, feed, shame, open, despair, creek, road, again, ice, least. All right. Now, With the witch falling out of the sky, you're obviously alarmed. You sidestep her and turn the key in the door, catching the lock at the first attempt thanks to years of practice. You step inside and something brushes against your leg and meows. You realize you didn't feed the cat that morning, to your shame, and walk to the kitchen to make amends. You open the cupboard in despair at the realization that you forgot to purchase cat food at the store. Exiting your home, you jump in the car and drive past the creek as you take the same road again into town. The route is treacherous as the puddles freeze and ice starts to form, but feeding the poor cat is the least you can do. Now that's a pretty dumb story, unless you're the cat. But if you were to run through it enough times while visualizing your childhood home, there's a good chance you'd be able to commit it to memory and keep it there. Of course, and now, by the way, that little paragraph contained the 12 seed words. Of course, that's not the only possible setting for your memory palace. You could choose the route of the paper route you used to cycle, a former workplace, a favorite art gallery, or friend's home, so long as it's a place that you know intimately, and the prompts you lay down as you traverse your palace are as quirky as possible. Do this and you should have no trouble recalling them. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try it just to see if it works. Committing a seed phrase to memory may seem pointless when you could just write it down and put it in a safe place. But aside from the satisfaction to be derived from completing the exercise, there are practical benefits to be derived. Citizens of war-torn countries or people who live under despotic tin-pot dictators may be obliged to flee at short notice, knowing that their cryptocurrency remains retrievable. Even if they're obliged to escape with just the shirt on their back, they take comfort. And for those who live in less turbulent lands, fire and theft can separate you from your seed for good. Even bank vaults are not entirely safe. Keep a physical copy of your seed with a backup in your head, and you'll be protected from acts of God, men, and anyone else intent on depriving you of your precious crypto. Huh. And that's, let me know how you do. Let me know how you do. Now, please. Please let me know. Okay. I think I should turn this off since I'm doing live radio. It would probably... Oh, John just rang me up, and Michael hasn't come on yet. John, I still got to bring Michael on real quick. These are... Michael, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, come on and let us get some recap. John just jingled my phone because I stirred him up early because, well...
Yeah,
I don't know.
I saw.
So,
Okay.
but we do need to get through and he understands. So, you take care of
Okay.
however much time you need to get through the recap. And how are you? And
Hey,
okay,
hang on.
you saw my email. The email that I had sent Wayne. Up at the top, the very top line. Oh, I drug it up before you were ready. It had the link. It just, because I hot linked the entire sentence or phrase. It didn't say click here, in other words.
Okay, I'm gonna call him in a little while anyway, so
Okay. Well,
you don't have to worry about that.
yeah. Well, I think he heard me on the radio there, so hopefully he got it.
Yeah, I think so. But he still wanted me to call him.
Okay, good. Yeah, I had a chance to talk with him. He was at dinner, and I was like, "Oh man, let me get off the phone. I don't want to ruin your dinner." He's like, "No." He goes, I didn't want to tell you. I was at dinner because I knew that's how you'd feel, but I want to talk." So we talked for a little bit.
Yeah, I called him too, and he couldn't talk. And
He's a busy guy.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
He's the kind of guy who will benefit from Logic 247 because he's always on the go.
Yep.
All right.
He's the kind of guy.
I'm going to hit mute, and I'll
All
be sitting here glued to my chair and screen when you
Okay.
are done.
We only had 6 trades, so it's gonna be quick. Anyway.
You don't.
All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. If you are Here we go. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page at CFRN.net, and right here on the side it says 5-day free trial, apply.cfrn.net. You can click on that, or you can scroll down right here where it says free 5-day trial. You can click on that. Use our proprietary indicators free. You can click on that. Any one of those is eventually going to bring you to this page where all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Hit the submit button, and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, we don't know you took the trial. So make sure you do that. Okay. Okay. Today is the 13th day of August 2018. We lost 6 ticks in the euro. We made 10 ticks in gold. That put us at plus 62.50 on the day. I know the last 3 days have been kind of slow for us. But we did get our goal today once again. One of those examples of you miles away. Took us 73 minutes and 4 trades to get to 112.50, and we took a total of 6 trades. So on the month now, we're at $945 per contract. That's over 8 days, averaging $118 per day per contract. On the year, $22,043 per contract. That's over 146 days, averaging $150 per contract. Okay. Now, let's get rid of that, and we'll look at gold. Here on gold, our first trade here on gold was a break even. The second trade, we picked up 10 ticks. That's where we got the goal for the day. Okay. We had, at that time, we also had 2 ticks on the euro, which we're going to get into next. The next trade here on gold was a break even. Okay. And that was our day in gold. The euro, we had +2 right here, and then we stopped out on this one pretty much to the tick, and then it went down and did what it should have done. So that put us at -6 on the euro. Let's see, during the break, there was a shorting opportunity there, another one there, and that was it on the euro. On crude oil, wow, look what happened during the break on crude. Okay, well, anyway, on crude for us, in the morning session, we had 2 break-evens. We had one right there and one right there. We missed a trade right here. That would have been a nice win. And then during the break, it looks like during the break, there was a shorting opportunity right there. Another one there, and there. And we changed directions, and we went up there. And then we had a short there. Okay. That's what happened during the break. Crude had a lot of movement during the break. I don't know what happened with it there. Excuse me. The ES, we went up into the zone, got up above it, had a bounce off the BBC. Oh. Yeah, I think it... Yeah, I'm going to take that off because the cycle was going down too steep. Either way, I didn't do anything with it. It was a shorting opportunity here. Another shorting opportunity there. And price continued down into the zone. And during the break, it looks like we didn't have anything during the break. Okay, so that was it. Back to the spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you're going to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today's the 13th day of August 2018. We lost 6 ticks in the euro, made 10 ticks in gold. Plus 62.50 on the morning session. Okay, today took 73 minutes and 4 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up 112.50. And we took a total of 6 trade opportunities. So on the month now, we're at 945. That's over 8 days, averaging $118 per day. And on the year, 22,043. That's over 146 days, averaging $150 per day. Okay. Okay. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page here at CFRN.net. Right over here it says 5-day free trial, apply.cfrn.net. Click on that, or you can scroll down where it says free 5-day trial and click on that. Use proprietary indicators and click on that. Any one of those is going to bring you to this page eventually. Click on email. All we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Hit the submit button, and we will send you a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link because we don't know you took the trial until you hit that link. Okay. Okay, and that's it, Dwayne. With that, I can send it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona. Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
Yeah. So, check this out. I mean, you don't have to, but good if you want. Does that work? It's working. So we lost our website to the baby's home.
Oh, we did?
In Kampala, yeah. You know, the baby's home is right next to the orphanage. Well, it's a long story, which let me just say, due to circumstances beyond our control, the person who had been instrumental in putting the website together got aggravated over something crazy, and this is what's so childish. Let's punish some abandoned babies because two grown people can't get along over some trivial thing. Why don't we punish these little innocent babies and take down the website?
Yeah, that's just wrong.
It is. Now, so Agnes goes, okay, can you please get? I go, yeah. And she said, okay, I want it to be Aggie Abandoned Babies Home Uganda, or maybe just Aggie Babies Home Uganda. I said, Agnes, nobody can remember that. Well, she goes, well, that's the name. I'm like, no, we got to have a name that people that it resonates, that it'll get us organic traffic. When they open the site, of course, it'll say, you know, welcome to Aggie's Baby Home, and it'll tell the story and pictures and all that. And I'm so excited. Guess what well, now that would take too long. Babylost.org. Let that sink in.
That's easy to remember.
Babylost.org. Now, on many different levels, it's compelling. The thing that I additionally like about it is many people throughout the course of a day around the world will do a Google search for missing children, child lost, you know. You follow me here?
Uh-huh.
I would say that something in that neighborhood probably gets Googled at least a couple hundred times a day. And when the SEO is done, those types of searches will bring us up on the page, and so people who know nothing about us and weren't looking for us will click and find us. And I'm building such a compelling website that, you know what's going to happen then, Mike?
What's going to happen?
They're going to want to be a part of all that's happening. All of it. And so we're going to welcome them with open arms. That's what I'm talking about. So I just wanted to share that good
awesome
news. Yeah, babylost.org. Boom. Oh, that child's laughter is infectious. Do you know how many sound files I had to go through to find that exact laugh?
No.
Yeah, me either.
How many?
It was a lot. No, I don't
sure
know.
It was a lot.
So guys, it's a rough draft. It's like somebody's cocktail napkin. So don't go there and judge me, please. Just don't go there. Give me a week and it'll be done. John, welcome to the show. Oh, recap of the recap.
Oh, wait. Let me open up his mic. Here. Okay, his mic is now open. Recap of the recap. 73 minutes, 4 trades, 112.50.
73 minutes.
4 trades.
Mm-hmm.
112
per contract.
That is right, per contract. And John's mic is open.
Okay, and so that's like saying, I don't know who all these people are. Maybe they're... Okay. John. Well, thank you, Michael.
Okay.
Welcome to the show. And you're gonna take care of Wayne?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anybody else that still needs taken care of or not, but I'll have a look at it.
I have 2 people that I have to call.
Okay. Alrighty. Are you there, John? I apologize that I wasn't ready for you. Okay. All right. Well, he'll pop. Oh, I should jingle him. Jingle. All right, guys. Any questions? We have a lot of different things going on. You know, stuff happening. But if you have a question on something, anything, you know, if you're brand new or you've been here forever, however that works, if you have a question, use the chat box. No one sees what you type in the chat box. Not no one. Not no way, not no how. Except Michael and myself and Bert if he happens to be in. Okay?
Daniel's got a question in there.
Oh, okay. I'll jump right on it. Okay, so I jingled John's phone. That should bring him, hopefully. And I'm going to go open the chat box, which I have not done. You typed a comma before the period in .NET.
Yeah, I don't know what Valerie was referring to there.
I'm sorry, Valerie. Where did I do that, Valerie, so I can fix it? Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I was supposed to do something for you early this morning, and it's now going to be done mid-afternoon. Okay? Let me make a note. Big note. I really enjoyed the time we spent together in that mentoring session the other day. It was good talking with you. It had been a while. And there's something I need to talk to you about too, Michael, so when you have a chance, we'll... Daniel, can you please go over Crude 6710 area? Twice this morning it acted as support. Now the third entry to the area, it broke and fell off the click. Looking for insight as to go long, short at each point that price was hit. Oh, Valerie, that's very observant of you. You know why I didn't get my email? Because I said news at CFRN, net, not .net. So, okay, well, at least we figured that out. Now, Daniel, tell me what time this took place. East Coast time. Oh, Joan, oh, I'm so glad to hear you say that. Did it actually fix the YouTube volume? Could it, I figured something out. Do I need to bump it up a little more? Because I can. I don't want to make it, you know, go wild. But let me know if you want it bumped up a little bit more. Okay? All right. Now, Daniel. Okay, Daniel said crude, and he did give us a price of 67.10. So let's just go take a peek at that. 67.10. Well, okay. 10, 11, and 11. Okay. Okay, so the volume's fine. Just leave it as it is. Okay, if there's any changes, let me know, and I'll work on it. Okay, Daniel. Let me put a line at 67.10 for the good folks. Now, do you have last week's weekly trading zones handy, Daniel? Because I do. And that will, and I encouraged everyone last week. I really kind of encouraged you to write them down. So I hope everyone did. So last week, I don't know why that number's there. I was assuming it was going to be a weekly trading zone. Oh, wait. Yeah, let me get the last week. It probably is. Okay. Crude 6705/6710. That was a weekly trading zone from last week. Hey John, if you pop in, just by all means, just start talking. Let me know you're here because you got an open mic. And okay. Now, as you were watching this dynamic, Daniel, were you aware that we were up against a trading zone from last week? Now, this week, you see where this week's, if you take a look at last week's crude zone, right where I've got it, and then look at this week's crude zone, you see how it creates like an area of congestion there that you probably are best served just to stay away from. But look what happened when that baby finally broke loose. What did it do? It went from zone to the zone, and it's attempting to bounce. Now, also, Daniel, were you what were your thoughts? Were you looking to buy or sell? Maybe you put that in your comment. Let me see. Twice this morning it acted as support, and on the third entry to the area it broke and fell off the cliff. Looking for insight as to go long short at each point the price was hit. Okay. So the first time, now I'm on a 30-minute chart, so that's going to look a little different than a 5-minute and a lot different than the range chart. But on a 30, okay, we hit it. We had a bearish cross, which means I'm not even entertaining any long trade ideas. I also know that when I hit this area that I've got 2 weeks worth of weekly trading zones kind of jammed up there together. So there was nothing that would encourage me to take a long trade here. Now, as this, you know, we got red and falling, and we got red and falling. All right. When this low right here was taken out, okay, a window of opportunity for me would have probably been down to, in fact, I almost put out, but I didn't. 95 to 75. You got to respect this previous swing low, and then you got the zone. So this could have been a 1, 2, 3 target trade. I did not put it on, but that would have been for me. That's when I would have wanted to get short, and I would have never thought of trading it long. Now did that help? And if not, you know, we could always do a mentoring session or something. But see, Dan says, I was just looking to see what would happen when price reached the zone. Well, okay, if you consider last week and this week's zone, you know, that area it creates, what we did was we had price consolidate across the zones, and then it finally took out this week's zone and last week's zone, and in 30 minutes we went from a high of 67.30, we'll call it, to a low of 66. Wow, that's a $1,300 per contract move. You can't get it all, obviously, because you're not getting in at the open and you're not getting out at the swing lows, but I mean, just that candle. Now, was there any reason? There's no economic news reports out today. Tonight, China reports their industrial numbers. That's a high impact report. It can affect the S&P if you're in it, and other markets. It could affect crude, certainly. It's a high impact report. It comes out at 10 p.m. Eastern. 10 p.m. Eastern. Okay. All right. Now, Daniel says, yes, I see why you would never go long now. So my question is you would not short on breakable 5, but rather wait to confirm the move. Yes. Because you see, we broke 5 here, right? And then we turned right around and broke it again, and then we broke it again. So yeah, I'm just looking for something, a tipping point, I call it, a point where it's far more likely that price is going to go to this zone as opposed to returning to this zone. Okay. And John's here, so I'm going to chat with him. And if you have any more questions, Daniel, put them in the box, and I'll be happy to try to cover as much as I can with you right up towards the end of the show, okay? Hey, John, welcome to the show. Hope you had a great weekend.
Yeah, thanks. Wasn't too bad. The golf game yesterday was pretty good, pretty exciting. For those who are golfers.
Where were they playing?
It was the PGA Championship, the 100th edition, if you like. So imagine from 1918 to 2018, being going for 100 years. And Tiger Woods, you know, has had a real hard time trying to win something for the last 10 years, and he almost won this thing yesterday. If he played an incredible game. In fact, he played the lowest score he's ever played on a course in the last day in history in his entire career. But unfortunately, there was a guy who was a bit better than him, which is pretty amazing, who walked away with it. So,
now,
but it was.
Are you a man given to golf?
Yeah, listen, I like watching it. I'm not a fanatic, but I like watching it when it's.
Do you play it?
Time to time.
Do you play golf?
No, I used to play it, but I haven't played it for years.
My brother-in-law, he dogged me for literally years to go golfing with him. We had a course, you know, right by where we. Finally, one day, just out of exasperation, I said, "Fine, let's go." And he's like, "Really?" So we went. He never, after asking me almost daily for 2 years, we went. He never asked me to go back. It was that bad. It really was. I just didn't have the right genes or something. Making that ball stay out of the lake, go straight. Any idea what happened to Crude today? This big sell-off was.
Yeah, listen. I gotta tell you, you know, this morning, when this is what sort of bear markets are like. You know, we had this very bad sell-off, which we were able to nail right from the very highs. We almost got the exact highs of this sell-off last week, which I'm fairly, you know, proud of. And we went down into the night. I came in around 5 in the morning or so, and it looked like it was turning up. So we went long, covered and reversed, covered the shorts, went long. And then the market just exploded on the open and really had a, you know, went positive. I mean, we were down pretty heavy during the night, and went roaring back up. And for a minute, I'm thinking, you know, maybe the bull market's still on. This is pretty good. And then we go up to about 74, 75 on the NASDAQ, put a sell, and next thing you know, the Dow's already slipping, and then the S&P started going down, and then the NASDAQ started following suit, and you know, all these markets haven't just given back what they gained, but they're in serious negative territory already, except for the NASDAQ, the S&P and the Dow. And this is, you know, I was sort of envisaging, I thought we'd get a rally today, and then we might get a late sell-off, you know, before the close. The fact that the sell-off came pretty early this morning, you know, from about 11 o'clock onwards, was kind of more bearish. You know, it's potentially more bearish than the later sell-off. And the implications of this are pretty bad, because the VIX has put in a phenomenal low. You know, what we've got going here, we've got a potential double top. We talked about this last week on the S&P. It's slightly lower high at the moment. We've got a double top on the semiconductors, and we've got a varying degree of tops in the NASDAQ and Dow and other things. And the market has, you know, came off from last week on this. You know, listen. This is kind of like a mountain out of a molehill kind of thing. In other words, you know, from a fairly innocent sort of set of circumstances, whatever rattled the markets late last week, whether it was these impending sanctions or the Turkish economy, whatever. The problem with the European markets today is they've gapped down, and they're looking very different from the US markets. They gapped down last night. They've gapped down again. They're looking very sick, and the Deutsche Bank is down, getting down towards its lows. So why is that happening? The Europeans are very heavily exposed to Turkey. I think Spain has about $80 billion worth of exposure to Turkey. So that's a big problem right there. Remember, Spain's economy isn't that strong. It had a very high unemployment rate for a long time.
I thought Spain was going through some kind of great renaissance, and it was like
it is. But you know, this could be curtailed pretty rapidly because of what's going on. And these things can sort of build on themselves. Right now it's probably manageable, but if it gets any worse, it could be a real problem. So
now, are we talking economic woes to the scale of what Greece went through?
A
few years back?
Yeah. You could have Turkey is the next Greece. I mean, that's the way I see it.
Okay.
So
my recommendation. I know you and I were on a little break then, but my recommendation to everyone in the audience, if it was at all possible, as Greece was sliding into the ocean, I said, find some way to buy real estate, buy a business, buy a home, buy an office complex, prices are just, they're giveaway prices right now. And I don't know to what degree they've recovered and bounced back, because I didn't take my own advice. I did not buy. And who doesn't want to retire to Greece and, sit on your deck and stare out over the Aegean? Is it the Aegean Sea?
Aegean, yeah.
I mean, but opportunity. Hey, at the beginning of the show, I normally run over the numbers, and I didn't do that today. So real quick, the Dow's down 125 points as I speak. That's cash market. NASDAQ down 14, S&P 500 down 11, Russell 2000 down 12. Everything here in the U.S. in the red, no real movers or shakers. Crude oil lost $1.68 so far, trading 65.95 last. Gold down 20 bucks. Now, it was so quiet last night, I even put out a message in the channel. Well, we probably won't be trading any gold today but I got surprised. Gold dropped 20 bucks. We didn't have a trade on, but it dropped $20, and the last print was $11.99.90. Now, at the close in Asia, the Nikkei was down 440 points. That's 2%. Shanghai was down 9, and the Hang Seng was down 430 points at the close. That's 150. I'm sorry, that's 1.5 points for the Hang Seng. And in Europe, color of the day continues. At the European close, FTSE down 24, DAX down 65, and the CAC down 2.5. So it's red all over the world, and it's really red in Asia, with two markets closing down between 1.5% and 2%. So
yeah, the Fed with raising rates and all that, they're crippling the rest of the world right now. There's about 30 currencies. We've talked about this on the show a few times. There's about 30 currencies that are just getting absolutely ravaged, and it's a big problem, because maybe the Dow has been the U.S. markets have been a delayed action sell-off, if you like, but when the buying power of these countries is just being evaporating, and ultimately that's going to affect the U.S. because less products can be bought from the U.S. with less money, plain and simple. So even the British pound, the British pound is gone down right now is at 127.5. Who'd have thought, and this whole Brexit mess is probably hurting the Brits a lot. It's probably not hurting their economy, because having a lower price pound is good for their economy versus Europe. But all of the everything, the euro's heading back down. It really doesn't look very good. And this dollar is sort of kind of it's partly strength of the dollar, but it's also the weakness of the currencies that's causing this dollar to be so strong, and it's having a disinflationary effect on things. So, but I think there's I wonder if I can just send this over to you. There's we'll do it tomorrow, but there's a commitment of traders thing that shows a kind of a bell curve, when the bars are at an extreme, it's usually negative for gold, and when they're very close at the apex, that usually means the gold's about to turn. And you do not want to ignore this chart, because the last time we saw something like this was 2016, and we had a massive rally for the next 6 months, and that's what somebody came out and said over the weekend. So even though we're kind of at an extreme point here, I just put out a buy on all the gold stocks right here at this extreme down of the day. I think they're going to turn, and the dusts are a bit overdone here on the upside. They may be ready to reverse. And look, stranger things have happened. It may not happen today, but maybe before the week is out, there could be, could happen today. There could be a big reversal in the metals, or later this week. If that's the case, that could actually create a really big, really major bottom in the metals. Lumber, by the way, which was looking very grim last week, is we remember it got down into the low 400s. We turned around, put a buy on it. I think we mentioned it on the show on Thursday, and at 404, maybe it was Friday, 404, 405, somewhere like that. It's we went long, and it's limit up again, 429. So amazing that yeah. By the way, the grains which got literally taken apart on Friday and continued into the night. We just moved the stop down all through the night, and we finally went long at around 8:52 or 8:53 this morning, and we're up 10 points on the beans, and the same with the soy meal. We're up about 3 or 4 points on the soy meal, which is a similar amount in terms of money. The coffee made a new low this morning, and it's bounced, but I wouldn't get too carried away with coffee's prospects just yet. The cotton caught the disease from the grains on Friday, and is almost limit down today. It may even go limit down, which is maybe the first time we've seen. Might be the first time I've ever seen cotton limit down, as far as I can remember. So so all of these things are contributing, but I'm starting to see a little bit of traction coming into the metals here, and this could be the beginning of a bit of a reversal. Now, also the dollar, I think if the dollar were to break down below this morning's lows, that would potentially mean there's some sort of a turnaround. Remember, if this guy blinks over in Turkey and decides to send this pastor back, then we could reverse everything that happened in the last couple of days. Could be quite significant,
So
and it could come out of nowhere.
What exactly is the situation on the ground in Turkey?
Well, it's probably all goes back to this coup, and it's kind of like Iran. It's probably pretty fragile. It's sort of boiling over. There might be an undertone of things going on, but the economy's in dire straits. The Turkish lira, the currencies. I mean, Argentina was really bad a few weeks ago. That's kind of stabilized a bit. Venezuela, is diabolical, and Turkey's sort of runner-up right now. Then there's Iran, and then there's Turkey. So it's sort of Venezuela, Iran, and Turkey. They're kind of the three worst situations in the world at the moment. So, and then Russia, also got clocked. But Putin has been buying so much gold. He probably seen this coming, and so Russia having so much gold is definitely helping in terms of gold versus the ruble. And
you made me think of something that I posted last night. Let me it's real short. Let me share it with you. Let me find it. No, it's got to be in this channel. Go, come on.
so,
Put it, wow, that's... Come on. Here we go. I got it right here. I don't have... Yeah. Hedge funds are currently short a record $20 billion worth of gold futures contracts. Put this into perspective. There is only one stock in the world that currently has short interest of larger value, and that's Alibaba, that has short interest of $25 billion. The world's second most shorted stock, Tesla, has only $12 billion in short interest. There's more, but let me just get your initial comment on that.
Well, look, shorts have not been winning in Baba. As a matter of fact, the stock's been acting really well. Only the recent shorts have done well. By the way, China's tanking. China's tanking today, but Baba has been. I mean, Amazon actually, I think, made a new all-time high today. It actually got right back up there, which helped the market. But it's putting in a kind of a top again here, so you have to be extremely careful. We might get a bounce right here. In fact, I think we're going to.
Let me finish this real quick, John, because you could factor this into what you're going to share with us. Hedge funds are now short 170,380 gold futures contracts, a new all-time high that is a shocking 5 standard deviations above the long-term average of 32,000 contracts. Hedge funds are only long 107,000 gold contracts for a record negative net long position of minus 63,282 contracts. For comparison, when gold bottomed in mid-December of 2015 at $1,051 per ounce, hedge funds set a then record negative net long position of minus 21,881. It is extremely bullish for gold to be trading at $1,211 per ounce, despite hedge funds having a record negative net long position that is nearly triple the size of when gold bottomed in December of 2015 at $1,051 per ounce. After gold bottomed at $1,051, hedge funds covered their shorts and went long gold, causing their net long position to swing from a then record low of minus 21,000 to a new all-time record high of 286,000. This positive swing of 308,000 contracts caused gold futures to rally by $316 or 30% to $1,367 within the following 7 months. Gold is coiled up like a spring ready to explode. Hedge funds have held a negative net long position for 4 straight weeks, but have never maintained one for more than 8 consecutive weeks. Just a small amount of short covering that sends the net long position back into positive territory should be enough to drive gold prices back up above $1,300 per ounce.
Yeah. Look, there's a fellow who came out with an article. I'll send this over to you later. We can talk about it more tomorrow, but it's the same thing. This guy was saying we've got a riveting 6 months ahead, and I believe that is coming. You know, we've talked about this at length before, because to me it's analogous to the 2009 bottom. And you know, we're gold bottomed at 1046, right? We're at 1200. We're $150 higher today than where we were, and yet the short interest is at an all-time record, right? When did quote me 2 examples of when this happened before, okay? And when sentiment was, equally negative, almost about the worst sentiment ever. In other words, how can we be more negative today on gold than we were down at 1046, for example? Now, in the stock market, the 2 glaring examples of this, or maybe even three examples, you could argue, after the 1987 crash, okay, within that 3-month period, we were touching the same levels as the depression lows, right? In 1994, December 1994, when I was writing for a magazine, I put out a buy on December 12th, 1994, and the market proceeded. I said we were going to go up 2,000 points to new all-time highs. We were only a few hundred points from an all-time high, and yet, believe it or not, the sentiment was lower than the depression, lower than 1987. How did that happen, right? How could that happen?
Okay.
Well, you know what happened next? We went up 2,000 points, and then we ended up going further, 5,000 points or 6,000 points to 11,000 by 2000. Okay, so the most recent example of this is 2009 to 2011. Obviously, when we made the bottom in 2009, we had a pretty big short position. It might have even been a record short position. But when we rallied up to 2011, you sort of say to yourself, well, how can the shorts be piling on just the same as they are with Tesla? Tesla just made a new all-time high a few days ago, right?
Oh yeah, I got something to talk about here.
Okay, and yet, so in spite of the shorts, and Baba just made a new all-time high a month ago. So in spite of the shorts, these stocks made all-time highs. By the way, one of the reasons why Baba is not going down is even though China's tanking, is because it's playing off the Amazon model. You know, the idea being, if Amazon's doing as well as it is, Baba must be doing. You know, I mean, Baba's singles day dwarfs Amazon. It's about 6 to 10 times bigger. So you know, Baba really is kind of a standout situation, and maybe may have some further upside surprises. So 2009, obviously we had a big short position that helped the market rally, and then we rallied up to the highs of 2011 around about the 25th or 6th or 7th of July, and then we had this 20% crash to a higher low that bottomed on October the 4th of 2011. On October the 24th of 2011, and this was all when the European economy was cratering, right? Before the European Fed stepped in and started pumping, and this Fed came in with its QE program, right? The short interest exceeded the lows of 2009. So we had a higher short interest at a higher bottom, and I believe that's exactly where we are right now in the metals. In other words, we're making a higher bottom on higher short interest, and when this market turns, the shorts are going to be scrambling, because who knows, there could be something that comes out of the blue that causes the gold to jump $30, $40, $50 maybe in a matter of hours or days. And when that happens, that will sort of kick off a rally. I mean, listen, go back to 2016 and February 2016, and I'm telling you, when the gold turned, you missed it. I mean, once it started, it was very hard to catch, and it was relentless. It went up. You know, it just went up 6 months straight. We're probably going to have something similar. And I would bet it's going to be at least similar amount, 300. It's probably going to be about $400 to the upside from here. So I would say maybe 500. I would say somewhere around 1550, I think, is a very realistic target. Maybe 16 to 1700. And it could go all the way, you know, what that hedge fund guy said on Wall Street, you know, we could go all the way to 2400, maybe even by the end of the year. I mean, everybody forgets we're in the greatest, you know, bull market of all time, and the gold emulates the market by a lag of so many years. And remember, we had a 10-year bull market in gold from 2001 through 2011. The market went up 7-fold, and it has pulled back. And the next, you know, based on what happened in the 70s, you know, we had an oil spike in 74. The gold went from 35 to 200. By 1974, it had a correction down to 104.6, exactly 1/10 of where it bottomed a couple of years ago. And then we had an 8-fold run to the upside from that bottom, where we went from 106 or 104.6 up to 875. That's probably what lies ahead for gold right now. Something as monumental as that, because all this printing around the world. I mean, you're seeing right now, you know, the dollar is invincible at the moment, but it's not going to last forever. I mean, at some point the dollar will get weaker, and when it does, when the dollar breaks down from this rally, it's going to be merciless, and it's going to be good for the world. It's going to be great for the U.S. economy because it'll probably lift markets, and it'll provide the next stage of the boom that's ongoing and probably take us through the 2020, 21, 22 before we really get into real trouble and the market finally tanks. So that's the way I see it. And an easing of the dollar. When this trend changes, just in the same way as the 2016 trend changed and the dollar went down 10% or more, went about 15%. We've had this rally, this 10% rally now. When this trend changes, the next trend will be a very long affair. It'll be a multi-year affair, and the dollar will probably go down very substantially. And I wouldn't be surprised. Look, if they work out this deal with Turkey, that could kick it off. And who knows, if Trump suddenly says, we want a weaker dollar, or Mnuchin comes out and says, the dollar's too strong or something, that could be the clincher that turns everything. And this guy's not stupid. I mean, he knows that a weaker dollar is actually a good thing. It's just like Trump says, if we can reduce the deficit by 50 or 100 billion more, that's a big deal, and it means more exports, less imports. It basically fixes the problem of the deficit, the trade deficit, along with the tariffs and other things that they're trying to address right now. And if the economy generates a lot more cash and they start paying down the debt, then it's the best of all worlds. And ultimately the debt has to be monetized, and the best way to monetize it is through a lower dollar.
Now, this longer term trend that you were just talking about, John, you're referring to gold, the dollar, or the two in conjunction?
No, sorry, I was talking about the stock market, having another phase up. But look, it's a little bit like 2005 to 2007. That was the final kind of couple of years of the bull run in the 2000s, and gold and the stock market went up together because there was inflation in the system. That could start again. In fact, if the dollar started weakening right now, strongly, I think markets will hit new high. I mean, look, maybe we're gonna go through a bit of a rough patch between now and the elections, and then maybe after the election, gold and everything else goes through the roof, and we start hitting new all-time highs in the markets next year. That's distinctly possible. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But ultimately, I think there will come a phase in this market where a weaker dollar will help stocks a lot. Look, if the dollar drops 20% from here, theoretically stocks could rally 20%. So whether that's going to kick in this year or next year or into 2020, we don't know when, but it could. It's coming. It's coming.
Hey, can you see my chart right now?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay, now this is the continuous goal. I've got it on monthly. All right. Now, going back to 2013, we've had this decline. I mean, this is a perfect bearish. This is what we live and breathe right here. But now we've gone into a transition. We got a bullish cross, but it's not running. This thing, I don't know. What do you think, John? Is it going to come back and put in a double bottom, or perhaps a slightly higher low, and then? Well,
it probably, look, if anything, if it lost another 100, it could drop down to 1120s, in the low 1120s, and maybe make a double bottom there. But if you look at the gold stocks, they're already down at that low, at that double bottom. If you look at GDX, we looked at them last week. GDX, they're about making that double bottom right here today, if it holds. And you know, that chart that we just looked at, if that suddenly reversed upwards, you could argue a case where this thing could just rip to the upside.
I'm bringing up GDX right now. Okay, here's GDX. And it's on a monthly, but what would you like it on, a daily or?
Weekly, I think.
Weekly. Okay.
Yeah, you see how it looks like it's getting towards a potential double bottom there.
Yes. I see that. Similar, are not this similar to what we were just looking at on gold itself, because, you know, right here, see, we got a leg and a retracement in this leg, and now we've got a shot at a double bottom here, and from that low to that high, that double bottom comes at a 62% fib retracement. If we don't find traction there, well, then perhaps we are facing a test of the lows, but you know, we don't want to sell it short. We'll give it every opportunity for this 62 to hold, right? Because if we come back and the 62 holds, then we get ourselves a leg up out of here. So
exactly.
Yeah, I think that's you know, just remember, guys, if everybody's running around talking about the sky is falling, you know, with gold, just remember that you heard it here on this radio program on the 13th day of August 2018 at 10:13, that we would like to see and think it's possible gold will turn around in the 1170 area. Okay, if it doesn't, then we can make a very compelling case for 1070. So if all that means is a better buying opportunity, if you are long-term bullish on gold, anyone in the audience, if you're long-term bullish on gold, you know, 1170 is not a bad price, 1070 is a better price. Okay, if you get 1070, even if we can't put in a new high from 1070 back up to, oh, I don't know, 1370, that's a, what is that, 30 grand per contract? Yep. Okay. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. It'll take a lot of time for this to play out. This is monthly. This is truly a big picture look at the market. But because markets are fractal in nature, this whole transition that I'm talking about, if you go back and you look at your charts, at almost every major turning point, you will see this type of a transitioning pattern. And it's like I liken it to an aircraft carrier. I was on a fast frigate, but we were part of the Kitty Hawk task group. Was it the Kitty Hawk? I guess it was. Anyway, if that carrier has set sail for wherever, and a call comes in, the president wants us to go the other direction. Well, it's not like one of those little cigar race boats, you know, cocaine smugglers. We can't turn that aircraft carrier on a dime. It takes a while for that thing to get fully turned around 180 degrees and heading in the other direction. Hours. And so such is with the market and in gold. Any individual market, but gold here, it's a big market. There's so much. People are tied to this emotionally in all kinds of ways. How long? This could take a year. It could take more than a year. Remember, we're reaching all the way back to May of 2013 right here. So yeah, I just assume get it over with. I feel like we're pulling the band-aid off really slow, you know. Just I'd rather see it just snatch it off and go from there. Now, Daniel had asked a question. If one would consider a gold call, what symbol would you suggest is best to use for such a trade? I had typed in, Daniel, I wanted to make sure you were talking about options when you said call, and I suggested that you call Bert 866-928-3310 because he has a mind that works well with options, and I know John does as well. Can you offer Daniel an answer to his question? If you were going to consider a gold call right now, what symbol would you suggest?
Probably the Jane Algo, the Nugget. You could those things. I think you can get some options on those things
you can
too.
Get options on those. Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel. We'll take that into consideration, and also see what Bert has to say. He really is quite good with those. Alan asks a question: why has lumber dropped so much? That worries me, Alan, quite frankly, and I'm going to bring up the lumber chart. I don't mean lay awake at night worry, but I mean, I think, well, the last time lumber got below the cost of production, I don't know if that's where it is now, but the last time lumber got below the cost of production, that was the beginning of the massive sell-off in real estate that we had here in the U.S., 2007, 2008. What month are you in for lumber? September?
September, yeah.
Okay, let's put this on a daily. Oh, I clicked 2019. Okay, let's try 18. Yeah, that'll probably work out better. Okay. All right, so this is lumber. September contract, 2018. Now, I know that there have been a number of limit days, both locked up and locked down over the past few months, right? Is that
the metals are turning here right off our call. I think
okay?
the gold stocks are starting to pick up here. I think there could be, listen, some stranger things that happen. If we got a full retracement today, that would be unbelievable.
Well, what do you think about Alan's question on lumber? You got anything for him?
Yeah, as I said, the lumber could be making a significant bottom here, and it might be ready to go back up a lot because you got hurricanes looming and things like that could help the price a lot. We've come back to we've come back down a lot. We could certainly rally to 500 from here, okay. Potentially.
Just keep in mind, guys, that lumber, like agricultural products, you can get locked, limit up, limit down, which means you're in a position, and as much as you'd like to not be in that position, the door's closed, the gate's locked, you cannot get out. Now, what has to happen? Tell me again, John, if a market's locked up or down, what is it that has to transpire for it to unlock?
Well, it's gonna, what we've seen is we've you want to put the chart up?
Of lumber?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it up right now. This is the daily chart of lumber.
Yeah, you've seen these gaps. We've seen these. It's probably not on your chart for some reason.
I don't know.
But
I've just got lumber futures, September 2018.
I don't know why it's not. It's not kind of showing the limits.
Let me show. Let me go.
No, you got. Well, anyway.
Contract.
Yeah, put the day. Put the thing. Is that?
I'm in September. What comes after September?
Okay, I don't know. Anyway, look, we've seen. Oh, here's the limits. where you? So, the last. You see near the top. Just go back to the top. No, just
hang on. I'll get back there. Lumber futures. Okay, back to September 2018. Here we are. Okay, I see December coming up next.
Okay, you see when we look at go back to the top, right?
Up here.
Well, look. Let's look at the uptrend for us back in May. You see, you had some days where it was actually limit up. Where there's no movement, that's a limit move, right? See that? See those little, when there's not, when it's
like a little guy like this? Like this?
A little hyphen, like a little hyphen. That's a limit move.
Okay, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one.
Okay, then we had the big reversal. And on that day, if you remember, on this show, was about 6:37, somewhere like that, where we said to short it. And it went limit down. So that closed limit down the first day. The next day was limit down again. It opened a little bit above, it opened a bit above the limit and went limit down. The third day was limit down. So you had 3 limit down days. And then the fourth day, it actually had a huge range, right? So it probably opened limit down and reversed upwards, or maybe it didn't quite open, it didn't quite go down the limit, right? And then reversed upwards. Okay, in the last couple of days, we were limit down on Wednesday. We turned upward on Thursday. We didn't do much on Friday, and then today we're limit up. We're limit up today.
Okay, now I don't have the dash today on the limit up. I've got
no, because it opened. It didn't open limit up. It actually opened lower and went limit up.
I follow you. Okay, I got that. Now,
So, and look, it's pretty tricky because like, if you look back in late July, see how we went from a doji. See that doji there, that red doji in the middle of July, or the 20th something of July, and then we went down for 3 days. Then we had an up move, and then we went limit down again into where we are, into this turnaround. So, you know, if we go limit up tomorrow, if we trade limit up tomorrow, you could argue we're making an island bottom there. We made an island bottom for all of August, and that could be pretty bullish. You know, if we went limit, if we open at 440 tomorrow and finish up about 450 or 445, that will be pretty cool. And then if we go up to 460 the next day, that could be really positive for lumber.
Now the question, of course, originally that got us onto lumber was why has lumber, sold off?
Because the property market is kind of getting a bit.
Well, that's what I typed to him in the chat box. Is I'm thinking it's potentially some negative, bad omen for the real estate market.
Exactly.
It seems to be doing well. 50% of it. We talked last week about this. 50% of the country is already back to the recession highs, while the other 50% of the country is not doing so well in real estate. It's not coming back. It's not snapping back. The big markets, Frisco and L.A. and D.C., all of those, which means there are still a lot of bargains out there in places like Missouri. I bet most of you never thought about living in Missouri, which is the land of 1,000 lakes, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the right place. You should do this, even if you don't ever have any plans to move anywhere or ever leave your house again. You should go to Countrywide Real Estate. It's a national real estate firm when you have some time. And go to Missouri and look at some of the, now obviously if it's a land of 1,000 lakes, there's an awful lot of lakefront property there. You'll be stunned and blown away what you can live in overlooking the lake for less than $100,000. It's not a mansion, but it's nice. And my wife and I, for the long, it's United Country. That's what it is. United Country Real Estate. And before the internet, they used to mail us a catalog like once a month with all their properties, because she's always wanted to do a bed and breakfast kind of thing.
Dwayne, can you put up the VIX?
David said Minnesota is the land of 1,000 lakes. Okay, yeah. RJ said it too.
Can you put up the VXX?
I sure can. What time frame you want it on? You want it on daily, John?
Yeah.
Okay, there's the VXX daily.
Okay, you see what happened on how we turned up from this little double doji reversal here, this kind of thing, this little the reversal of 28, and how we've popped up since. If you can put it to a week, you know.
Okay, there we go. Okay, there's weekly. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a pretty interesting chart. You know, we got all this energy that took us from the 2018, the January bottom, and that huge run up in the VIX, and we've kind of been correcting and basing out. If this thing turns upwards from here, which it's starting to, look at that weekly doji, right? And here we are today. If this thing starts heading up, you know, we could really go way higher in this VIX, which would mean we'd be down very substantially in the market.
Now, here's an interesting comment from Joan. We really would allow a U.S. company to receive subsidies and then sell out to a foreign country. At least the Saudis realize that electric cars still depend on oil for charging? Question mark. What are your thoughts on
that? Yeah, you know, I mean, you got to make electricity. It depends how they make the electricity, but
yeah, but the part about allowing a U.S. company to receive subsidies and then sell out to a foreign country. She's speaking of something specifically there, and I'm not.
Oh, you mean Tesla? I guess she's talking about
Tesla. Tesla. Okay, gotcha.
Because Tesla's being heavily subsidized.
Missouri is the show me state. Thank you, David.
You know what? If Tesla gets taken over for 420, who the heck? I mean, do you think the government's going to complain? I don't think so.
Oh, I had a thing I wanted to share with you. Right, is it right here? Okay, Saudi Arabia is reportedly looking to invest big in Tesla after the company teased going private. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, the country's sovereign wealth fund, is in talks with Tesla about becoming a significant investor in the buyout, according to Bloomberg. Now, there's more to the story. Tesla and its CEO, Elon Musk, were sued twice on Friday, this past Friday, 2 lawsuits, by investors who say his tweet about taking the company private was a fraudulent scheme to squeeze short sellers. One plaintiff described them as a nuclear attack to decimate short sellers. Oh, I don't know why I take some sick, twisted joy in that. Short selling is perfectly legal, nothing wrong, nothing unethical. Naked short selling, and that's a whole different story. That is illegal, but I'm assuming these are legal shorts. And now, do you think he was serious, or do you think he's guilty of what these guys are suing him over? They found an attorney that would take their case.
You know, he probably was winging it a bit. You know, he may have had a kind of a verbal commitment on the funding.
One of the lawsuits, the plaintiff, Coleman Isaacs, said Musk's tweets were false and misleading, and together with Tesla's failure to correct them, amounted to a nuclear attack designed to decimate the short sellers. Short sellers borrow, if those of you that don't understand, it's different in futures, but with stocks, short sellers borrow shares they believe are overpriced, sell them, and then repurchase shares later at what they hope will be a lower price to make a profit. If you do it that way, it's legal. The problem is this: you have 3 days to cover, and it's just been ignored. Such investors have been an irritant for Musk, who has sometimes used Twitter to criticize them. His tweets on the 7th of August helped push Tesla's stock price more than 13% above the prior day's close. The stock has since given back more than 2/3 of the gain, in part following a report that the SEC is looking into the tweet. The lawsuit says that Musk's conduct caused the volatility that caused short sellers hundreds of millions of dollars from having to cover their short positions and caused all Tesla securities purchasers to pay inflated prices. You know what? I don't think this guy's got an argument here. What do you think?
I doubt it. You know, these shorters, I think they're a breed unto themselves, and they, you know, they know the risks.
The audacity of this guy, you know, I'm shorting your company, and then you do something to try to save it, and now I'm going to sue you because you...
Yeah, no, I think it's not gonna fly.
That dog won't hunt. No. Okay. All right, I just want to touch on that. I had it on my list of things to talk about today. Let me see what else is cooking in the tech sector here. Russian hackers attacked Swedish news sites in 2016 as part of an effort to spread misinformation about NATO. Well, it's new news, but Chinese startup ByteDance is raising $3 billion in a round that would make it the most valuable startup in the world. The round would value ByteDance, B-Y-T-E Dance, which owns China's biggest news aggregator, at $75 billion. Now, are you familiar with the term, John, news aggregator, or aggregator, as it's used in Web 3.0? Is that a term you're familiar with? How they use it? Well, give you an example. We have a number of sites that, you know, his company, they say they're gonna value this thing at $75 billion. I have a couple of sites that run some maybe $40 software, and what it does is it goes out and it finds newsworthy articles on whatever I tell it to hunt for. And I'm telling you, it looks everywhere. It'll go to RSS feeds. Anywhere I send it, looking for anything I tell it, it will then come back and automatically, without me touching a thing, post that news article on the site, in the news feed. So you might see an article from Bloomberg, and then you might see an article from CNBC, and then you might see an article from MarketWatch, and then you might see one from Bitcoin.com. Whatever I've told it to look for, it goes, it finds it, it brings it back, and it posts it real pretty. It gives you a snippet of the news, it attributes the original author, and there's a link that will take you to the original post if you want. And so news aggregation is very popular. Google has some issues with it, but I think they're kind of getting over it because it's a real bonus to the ordinary folks like you and I who are surfing the net. You know, why should we have to go to 10 different news sites if we can get it all on one site, right? I mean, that's so convenient, and the websites where the content originated, it's not like we're stealing their content. In fact, we're putting a link on our homepage on those sites pointing right back to them, giving them full credit for the journalistic work they did. Everybody wins, but Google again still. And they also call them, when you hear somebody talking about a scraper, you know, scraping websites, that's the same thing really as a news aggregator. Magic Leap, the mixed reality headset startup, is open to raising more capital despite having banked more than $2 billion to date. I don't even know what they do. Magic Leap. Oh, it's mixed. It's the what do they call that? We've got the two things now where you put the glasses on. We got augmented reality, and what's the other one? You know what I'm talking about? Somebody will type it in a minute. Spotify is considering allowing free users to skip ads. The feature is normally only available to paid users, but the company is running a test in Australia that allows them to skip ads that they don't like. Virtual reality. Thank you, RJ. Have an Amazon Alexa device? You can hear 10 things in tech each morning. Just search for Business Insider in your Alexa's flash briefing settings. Do you have any type of Alexa device, John?
Alexa.
You know, from Amazon, the little thing that you
For checking the traffic and stuff? Traffic?
Oh, I mean, she'll look up web pages, read you books. You can listen to podcasts and radio stations. And I need a recipe for beef stew. Okay, I have 3 right now. One uses, which one would you like? And then she'll walk you through step by step as you're, I mean, it's quite captivating. It's, now we have, I think, I see my daughter and my son both have the inexpensive Spot, but it does everything. My wife has the tall Alexa. It was originally mine, and then she bought me the Show, which has a little screen on it. And it's interesting, I talked about this last week. The one with the screen gets the least amount of use in this house, because the fact that you can walk into the kitchen and say, Alexa, play me some James Taylor, and she just does it. You don't have to look at the screen. You don't have to fiddle with any keys or buttons or mouse, or, you know, you just walk into the room and you can say, Alexa, what's the temperature? Or Alexa, give me the headlines. Or Alexa, what price is IBM trading at? I mean, on and on and on and on and on. I need to catch a bus at 19th Avenue and Baseline. When's the next one? All that stuff. I mean, there's thousands of skills, but she doesn't come with them all turned on, and I don't know why that is. You have to go in individually and turn a lot of the different skills on. And now the latest version of the Amazon Fire Stick, which my wife bought 2 of them on Prime Day for $19.95 each. Alexa's built into that you're getting all that TV, you're getting all those movies and all the music you can listen to, and Alexa. We got it for $20, and you talk into the remote. You just hold it up like a walkie-talkie and say, hey, Alexa, find me a movie with Kevin Bacon in it, and 5 of them will just pop right up on the screen. Pretty I remember when you had to get up and walk across the room to change the channel. Oh, Facebook's blockchain boss David Marcus is leaving cryptocurrency startup Coinbase's board. His departure is seen as a signal that the social networking giant's secretive blockchain efforts are progressing. Marcus joined Coinbase in December 2017. His decision to resign was to avoid the appearance of a conflict of interest. Because of the new group I'm setting up at Facebook around blockchain, I've decided it was appropriate for me to resign from the Coinbase board. Now, it's not too often somebody walks away from a cushy, high-paying job, so he must have something cooking real nice. Marcus's move follows a report that Facebook has met with cryptocurrency payment technology startup Stellar. That move may indicate it plans to set up its own payment network. Facebook's blockchain team was first announced at the company's F8 conference in May of this year. Marcus is one of several heavy hitters that Facebook assigned to the effort, which some observers have interpreted as an indication of just how serious the Silicon Valley giant is about crypto. Now, we're talking Facebook now. In addition to Marcus, the blockchain team includes the former head of product for Instagram's former head of engineering, and one of Facebook's veteran senior engineers. Beyond the appointments, the public announcements of the appointments of these people to their position, they have been very, very quiet about what they're going to do. Interesting.
Okay, well, listen, thanks very much, Dorian.
All right, thank you so much. Pleasure as always. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks a lot. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Okay, guys, keep an eye on this. I know this is a really big picture. Oh, let me get John's mic for him. This is a really big picture chart up here. monthly, continuous. Okay. Hang on, let me get his mic. You know, or not. There they go. Now I got it. Almost there. Still checking. Okay. Done. Alright, John, you can move about the cabin. I've got your mic on mute. I'm opening the... Joan says, and we can't depend on Google to give us organic searches anymore. Very censored and controlled. Now, talk to me about this, Joan. Was there some news out today specifically regarding organic search? Oh, I was talking about news aggregators. Oh. Well, are you saying that the aggregators somehow mess up the organic search? Am I reading that right? Google is censoring. Okay. Oh, the fact that they aren't so happy perhaps with the news aggregators. I guess that's what you... Well, you know, sometimes when I publish something and I do a Google search to see how it's positioned and ranked, sometimes if I publish an article on Seeking Alpha and I also publish it on our blog, every now and then the Seeking Alpha, same article, but the Seeking Alpha has higher placement in the organic search. Now, something I want to... I'm going to read that in just a second, RJ, but while this is on my mind, I'm going to say it so I don't forget about it. Let me just show you, and it'll stick in your mind. Give me just a second. You will probably get email. You probably do get email that says, we can, you know, buy this $19 software and we'll guarantee you first place ranking, you know, on Google, or get on the first, you know, 3 clicks and you've got first page placement on Google. Okay, you know what I'm trying to say. Everybody's looking to work from home and do the deal and market on the internet, and again, it's the people selling the picks and shovels that are probably making the most dinero here. But I digress again. When you do a search on Google, Google never forgets. Now, let's say I fancy a pair of brown shoes, and I've been dreaming about those shoes for some time. So, needless to say, I've done a number of Google searches for brown shoes. Let's say I've gone to 10 sites over the course of, you know, a couple months dreaming about these brown shoes. But of those 10 sites, I have spent 75% of my time on 3 of those 10. Okay. If I go search, Google search brown shoes again today, I'm not going to get genuine search results, because Google, in its infinite wisdom and algorithm, weighs where I've been in the past to project where I want to go to in the future. So the 3 sites that I spent 75% of my time learning more about brown shoes, Google's going to pop them like right up to the top. It'll be under those first few ads, but once the organic search starts, those sites I spent that much time, they're going to be right at the top for my convenience, okay? For my convenience. The guy who spent a lot of money and time and treasure or whatever to SEO his site properly so that he has good search engine rankings, he'll get pushed down on that page because Google weighs your preferences over the SEO done by a webmaster. And I say all this to say this: the trick that they will often use when you get that email and they're pitching you on this, amazing software, the search engine optimization software, and they, they do a few things, and then bing, right there in that video, they show you how they ranked number 1 or number 2 or number 3 in the 10 minutes it took them to do the video. Has nothing whatsoever to do with the software they're selling you. Now, the software they're selling you might help your search engine optimization. I mean, that's certainly possible. But the tale they're telling is that, oh wow, because I've had people, associates, call me, very excited. Oh my God, Dwayne, you're not going to believe this. I have incredible news. Man, tell me. Well, I started that blog about brown shoes. Yeah. How's that going? Dude, you're not going to believe it. Tell me. I'm number 1 on Google for brown shoes. And I go, oh man. I go, friend, I say this with love, you're not. What do you mean? I'm staring at it. I've done it 100 times. I've hit that search 100 times now. And every time it strengthens the fact that they're going to come up in number 1. I hope everybody's tracking with me. All right. And so it's now my job to try to let them down easily. Because it's the first, when I found out, it was crushing. It was a crushing blow to the ego many years ago. If you want to know or see how something actually, let's say a brand new computer coming out of the box, the first search you've ever done on it, if you want to see those kind of pristine results, if you want to see the kind of results that most other people will be seeing, you gotta use incognito, and I'm sure everybody knows how to do that. Now, I've never searched for brown shoes. Trying to think of something that I might search for on a semi-regular basis. Okay, I'll try this. Free images. Because I'm cheap, right? So free images. Now let's take note. This is an ad. This is an ad. See, you can pay to be at the top of the Google search page. Now, some people realize it's an ad, okay, and they scoot past the ad to get to, now this begins the organic search. Been there a whole lot of times. Okay, now I know we don't have, oh, I'll do it this way. How do we do that? You know, my little 3 dots disappeared. Has anyone else had that issue? Oh no, they're back. Oh, I think I downloaded, they had gone, and I installed the latest version. Okay, so now we're going to go incognito. Now I'm going to get search results that are not tainted by anything I've clicked on before or hours I've spent on a site, looking at their free images that I could download and incorporate into a website. So free images. Okay, your ads, because they're paid to be there, will most likely pop to the top. Seeing some of the same stuff, free images, pixels, unsplash, free images, burst. This looks, apparently I haven't searched free images as much as I thought I might have. And maybe we can try something different. But if you play around with it, well, I've had to have searched that a time or two. Okay, so we got what's his name, and then CME makes sense, Wikipedia makes sense, Market Watch, and Investopedia. What? I'm not on the front page. Freaking out. So now let's see how different that looks. You'll have to play around with it, but you'll see. And so really the only reason I went down this rabbit trail was I don't want you to get taken in by somebody tricking you that within 5 minutes you've got the #1 rank on Google for any search term. That's really it. Okay, so now this is the incognito, where it's wouldn't you? What do you know? Yep, same thing. You try it. Use stuff that you normally search. This is very embarrassing. Live radio. Why does it always happen to me? No, just you do it. Do searches on things you normally search for. Look at the results. And then go look at it, and you'll see it's sometimes the 2 pages that come back are so different. It's amazing. Now it is possible to rank relatively, depends. If you have some powerful sites linking to you, you know, that of course is going to help. YouTube videos. Google is the largest search engine in the world by traffic, or however you want to count it. The second, well, it used to be Google was #1, YouTube was #2. But now Amazon's in the mix. And I read an article to you guys the other day that said Amazon had usurped Google as having the most searches per day. Video, YouTube, if you have a product, a service, an idea, something that you need, you know, get it out in front of people. Try that. Try creating some videos. Google, which owns YouTube, you know, anytime they can display a search result to something they own, well, they claim they don't do any evil, but I'm not exactly convinced. It is a, if you're a company today and you, well, let's say you're a home builder in Phoenix, right? The internet is probably not a huge part of your marketing. I mean, you're on the internet, of course, and you're optimized and these other things. But one home builder in the course of a year, you know, like a really big home builder like Pulte or someone, how many houses are they going to build in a year? 100? I can't answer that question, but maybe you can. On the other hand, if you're not a local home builder, if let's say you're a guy in Minnesota or Missouri who sells these delightful handcrafted widgets from China, and you're selling these widgets all over the world, your your search engine optimization is critical to the success of your company and that product, revenue, sales. It's your lifeblood. I mean, I can't stress how important it is. Now, home builder making big bucks doesn't really have to be concerned. Local market, word of mouth, all that. You become a global vendor for a product or a service, and everything changes. And so if you are in a business or starting a business or thinking about starting a business, you will probably need to hire someone. Unless you already know it and are willing to do it yourself, you're going to need to hire someone part-time, probably full-time, just to manage that stuff to keep you in front of prospective buyers. Because somebody's always coming out with some new way to game the system. And you don't want to game the system, because when Google catches you gaming the system, they take it real personal. And if they blackball you, you better go ask that home builder if you could get a job with him. When I bought the domain years ago, many years ago, for PhoenixWeddingChapel.com, number one, I almost passed out because it was available. We had the historic church downtown and beautiful Victorian sanctuary with the chandeliers, and my wife started a wedding business. So I go, well, here, let me get you a website. And when I found PhoenixWeddingChapel.com was available, I could not believe my good fortune, and I grabbed it right away. Someone living in Phoenix, if they searched place for a wedding, guess what popped up straight away? Without me really having to do a whole lot. Phoenix Wedding Chapel. I wonder if it still does. I have now. This is the incognito. Let's see. Get married. Phoenix, Arizona. I wouldn't expect to still be here, but it's possible. I did so many weddings. Wow. How about wedding venues? Phoenix, Arizona. What we're looking for is a time to remember. I think it's still up, even though we're... I guess they figured out we're no longer in the wedding business. Now this is like shooting fish in a barrel. If this doesn't come up, I need to check and see what happened. Wedding Chapel, Phoenix, Arizona. There you go, Phoenix Wedding Chapel, bing, right to the top. Phoenix Wedding Chapel. See, I will sell that domain. I just haven't had a chance to get around. I got to go talk to the biggest wedding venues in Phoenix. I won't take less than 10 grand for it, and I'll probably ask 50 and take payments. The average cost of a wedding in America today, $25,000. You know, the venue's only a part of that. You got to buy the dress, and you got to rent the tux, and you got to get a cake. Phoenix Wedding Chapel. A time to remember. Okay, enough of that. You guys didn't come here today to learn how to... Alright, let's get off this monthly gold. Alright, S&P. What happened? What happened? I thought I'd already marked that up. consider being long 28.31. I really thought, oh, okay, I got the sell side in. I didn't get the buy side in. The opportunity presents, consider buying 28.31. Now, this happens. And what do you mean by this? I mean, spike it. And we talk about this a lot because it's a decision that you have to make a decision, and then what's really important, it doesn't, and there's no right or wrong answer. But you need to pick one way of doing it, and then that's it. Okay. When price touches 28.31, because it said to consider buying 28.31 if the opportunity presents. So when it touches 28.31, do you want to be triggered in immediately? Do you want to see a 5-minute candle close above 28.31 and then get long? There's a couple of other variables that I'll be happy to go over with you in a one-on-one mentoring session if it applies to you. Because we trigger 28.31 and then we draw down to 28.22. So if you were triggered in here, then that would result in a stop out. Okay. Now right here, you don't, the swing high of this candle was 31.75. This candle, the swing high was 31.25. And this time, now your drawdown here on this trigger, well, just using a 30-minute chart, okay, on a 30, the most that you can risk is 6 points. $50 a point, $300 per contract. Now, you can risk whatever you want. That's our guideline on the discretionary, bigger picture type trades. Okay? All right. So if 31's the trigger, or the price that you enter is the trigger, see? But just use 31. Minus 6 points at $50 a point is $300 per contract. We do not recommend risking more than $300 per contract on any one trade. So that means I could have a maximum stop loss of 28.25. 28.25 plus 6 points equals 28.31. Okay. And so where's 28.25? 28.25 is the horizontal line on my cursor right now. So on the 30-minute chart, that first trigger, no go. This second, it didn't touch 31. It came up a tick short. The trigger with the least amount of risk often provides the largest amount of profit. I know you've heard me say that a lot, and as long as it holds true, I'll continue to say it. It's one of my market truths. Now, in this situation, I can put my stop at 28.25. That's a 6-point stop loss, okay, on the 30-minute chart. If I can find the entry on the 30, I like that the best. Then we go to our intermediate and then to our smallest. And if one of those three does not give us what we're looking for, we walk and wait for the next opportunity. And so you were able to put a perfect 6, and you can't put it right on it, okay? It's got to be a bit below. And in private mentoring, I'll go into great detail with you on, average true range and help you determine some factors that will go into your stop loss placement. The good news is we put in a high of 43.75, so from 31 to 43, that's 12 S&P points at $50 a point, or $600 per contract available. Also, it's helpful, I say, that price turned to, not to the tick, nope, this is one tick shy of last week's zone. Remember on Thursday when I was saying, hey, you know, guys, I think if you would write these down, I mean, I want you to be a partner. I want you to have the weekly trading zones with the rest of the partners at 6:15 a.m. Eastern every Monday morning before Wall Street wakes up. Once we publish, we don't change them, massage them, manipulate them. They are carved in stone all week long. And you've heard me say, you know, the carryover effect, the carryover effect, the carryover effect. We overshot, okay, no problem. Now, oh, by the way, this little, if you remember, go back to, if you have an interest, go back to Friday's radio show and scoot it up to the point where I drew that box and listen to what we talked about. I think you might gain something. Okay. Now, as price came down, you see this low here? The low is 28.20, and the low here was 28.2050. In fact, that was the swing low on one of the logic shorts last night. Okay, so price comes down when this candle opens. Okay, there's no green to be seen. This candle opens and starts heading down, and it's red, just like all its brethren. Okay, you got a big red candle. But once we hit this price, once we take this out by 2 ticks, look at that wick. Now, when you weigh these things together, okay, it spiked the previous swing low by just 2 ticks. Remember that? Remember I said don't trust a new high or new low by just a couple ticks or a tick, or, you know, fickle. This paints the picture as well as I possibly could. You got this wick. Some could argue this to be a bullish engulfing candle. This body engulfs that body. Yeah. So the price comes down, you're waiting, you're watching, and right here it's as if, you know, you touched a hot stove and then snatched your hand back. Rejection is what I called it. It found what it was looking for, rejected. Now we've worked our way back up to 28.31. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. There's one. We missed it by a tick. And a tick. And now we're right at it. Okay. Now, if you should choose to find yourself in a long position, where would your target be? Now let's just say you don't have this week's zones. All you're working with is last week's zones. There's 2 targets staring at you. Yes, of course, here and here. Often as price approaches a previous swing high or swing low, in this case, a previous swing high. Sellers might come in early. So instead of letting price rise all the way up to the tick, or to even spike it, because they don't want to get left behind, because this was such a profitable short-term journey, maybe it can happen again. So as price gets up near these highs, buyers or sellers start hitting the offer, and we end up with a lower high. Okay, so I'm looking at 33.35, and I don't want to act crazy, so 40. Are you with me here? Okay. The question is, did you just trigger in, or do you want the market to show you something else? Because remember, over here, this wick, see, this was a green candle at one point. This candle closed here, opened here, created a green candle, just like this, right? Then it reversed and closed bearish. Took us down to put in a higher low. So what I was saying earlier about you have to make a decision how you will handle this. There's no right or wrong. The only wrong would be to not make a decision how you're going to deal with it. And then the other wrong would be not to handle it that way consistently, time after time after time after time. This is how, in a business based on probabilities, you want to do whatever's possible, okay, to put the odds in your favor. Now, I don't so much like the term odds, because that brings up, you know, thoughts of mental imagery of gambling and so forth. So that's, but it is a business based on probabilities, and our definable edge is how we find, you know, any success in the markets is through consistent profitability based off of low risk, high probability trades. So the more things that I can find about a particular setup to put in the high probability column, all right, well, that's so then I, you know, look at my little checklist. Okay? On my risk side, I don't want to have much in that column. In the high probability, I'd like to see a couple, three things. Bullish, you know, bullish cross, 30-minute, price broke above a weekly trading zone, held the pullback at the zone, leg retraced, the zone held, now it's starting to build that next leg up towards the zone overhead. Okay, that's definitely high probability, you know. And there are other things, and we'll work on those in the mentoring sessions. Yes, Alan. Last time I looked, and I got to do some work over there today, so I'll let you know. About $34 last time I checked. Okay. I had something here that said not for. Okay. I'm reading this not for the room post. Just give me a second. I listened there. Now there's a podcast by the same name. Is it? Do you know if it's produced by Gimlet Media? Okay, now is this sort of like a documentary, a day in the life, or is it like a fiction? You know, like a regular TV show? It's a dramatic show. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go, I got to check that out. I did watch all of Silicon Valley on HBO, up through the most recent season and episode. It's quirky and funny, and I've got a feeling it's an awful lot exactly the way things are in Silicon Valley, right here, right now, today. But there's so much gratuitous foul language that even I was blushing. I don't know why they do that, but I'm going to go check that out. Oh, Crackle. Now with Crackle, okay, now did Crackle create that show? I didn't know that they were a content creator. Crackle is one of the many channels you can get on Roku. You can also get it on the Amazon Prime. It's free. The price you pay is you watch some commercials. It's a dramatic show like Breaking Bad. I want to tell everybody about it. Can I? I mean, do they need a spoiler alert? Do they need to know there's foul language? The actor from The Lord of the Rings and one of the actors from the OC is in it. And somebody from the Sons of Anarchy. I've heard a lot of people like Sons of Anarchy, but my wife and I turned it on one night, and the language is just rough. I mean, it's not something I've never heard before, but Startup. I just threw it out there on Crackle. Check it out. Now again, it might have rough language. I haven't watched it. It probably does. It should tell us what it's rated over here. It's a gritty drama that follows unlikely tech entrepreneurs behind a brilliant idea and a powerful FBI agent, Sherlock Martin Freeman, not to be confused with his brother Morgan, who, I'm kidding, who can make or break those he comes in contact with, and not always for the right reasons. Set in Miami. Okay. Network. Oh, Sony is behind Crackle. Now that I didn't know. 99% or 96% of people who voted liked it. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that. I will. Let's see. I don't think I can do that. I was going to say I would set my DVR to record it, but if it's on Crackle, I can't record with my Cox DVR. Maybe I got to think it through. Maybe there is a way. Yeah, no, thank you very much for sharing that. I appreciate it. Well, I already have, we have the Amazon Prime. Yeah, we really get our money's worth out of that thing. Because we're so close to the distribution center, one of them, we get the 2-day free delivery that all Prime customers get, except ours shows up the next day. And on a rare occasion, it could show up even the same day. All right, we got to get up and get out of here. Okay, so we went over the S&P. We talked about this as it was moving through. Okay, so now even a 30-minute has closed above the trigger. What you don't want to do, okay, I'm going to leave this alone. What you don't want to do is be sitting here figuring out what you're going to do. Okay? You need to have this already mapped out. And then if you have said to yourself, and this is just a for instance, when a 5-minute candle closes above or below the trigger, if it's a short trade, I enter on the open of the next candle, period. Then you're not sitting here going through all these mental gyrations. You're just trading the plan. You write out the rules and then you stick to them. I came across a fellow's website once upon a time, and he had listed out some trades that they had taken, I guess, in their trading room or something. And he would grade it based upon what percentage of his own rules did he actually follow. And I thought, you know, it seems like it should be 100% every time. Well, not every trade's a 100%er. Okay. But if that's your definition of a high probability setup, then the other ones, they aren't trades. They didn't make muster. They didn't stand up and salute. If you can't tick all the boxes, but now maybe your plan is like, it's very liberal. If I can tick 7 out of 10 boxes, I take it. I don't know. Don't overthink it, please. So the maximum available right up to last week's zone, $600 per contract. All right. On the Dow, consider being short 25,175. So you see how a close below, now these are 30 minutes, so I don't know what the 5 minute did. You see how that would have not made that a stop out? Oh yeah, hey, did you hear Dwayne said on the radio show today that we should wait? No, Dwayne didn't say that. Dwayne said that's one of the ways to do it. You need to decide which way is going to become your way. Okay? And then you have to give it a large enough sample size, minimum 20 trades, to find out if you've made the right decision. Thank God for the simulator, eh? All right, and so we catch a bounce, and that bounce takes us up to 25,260. Okay, we get a pullback. However, we pull back from 25.60 to a swing low of 188. Now, $5 a point. If the maximum you're going to risk is $300 per contract on any one trade, if that's the max, at $5 a point, that's 60 points. So 25,260. Obviously a drawback to 200. That would have been well, that would be the whole 300. Okay, and then look at this. Least amount of risk provided the most amount of profit. And so here your stop, you could get away with, I don't know, 25,215. Was that 45? 25, yeah. Use about a 40, yeah, that would have been fine. And it would have taken you right up, boom. And then we're at the firing line again. See how it walked right up to the line. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. The Russell said to consider buying 1690. $100 per contract available. All of 2 points. If you sold 1676, there was $300 per contract available. Okay. Red. Finally get a green 30-minute candle with this lovely long wick, and so you're thinking, well, gosh, it should at least try to go back, you know, to the zone, and did, and perhaps it's not done, but that's the Russell. Ha 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 ha. Crude oil. We said to consider selling 67.35. Okay. A couple triggers here. on the 30. Yeah, this one closed below. There's your pullback. We get again, and then the pullback. We talked about this earlier. There was a question about it. Ultimately, it did go from zone to zone, and it's $1,500 per contract available. And this is a good one, I think, to just point out. I had it up there before. Let me show you again. As price was, you know, all these pullbacks, it never took us into a bullish cross. And it gave an exit signal right there. Okay? You mean I didn't get this? Nope. Now, if you decided to stay with the trade, as I've talked to you about, when you hit the zone from last week, and you also know where this week's zone is, and then you do this doji right here, you think to yourself, 67. Now, over $1,500 per contract available. I'm good. On the other hand, you very well might suspect that there's going to be another leg to the downside. Okay. So you hang in there. Well, then you don't get out here. You take the exit signal. And the exit signal is when you're in a short trade. The CFMA1 is on the back side of price. The north side, actually. And price closes above the step line. The first green close in a short trade, the first green close above the step line, it's time to leave. And so you depart the trade. Okay? You still had a very nice trade. You did well. And congratulations. Gold. We said to consider selling 12.12. All right. Now this big drop took us down to 12.02. That's $1,000 per contract available. That's what the market made available. Now, you see how I came down and touched it and got this rejection? I don't know what was I wasn't in front of the computer when this happened. It happened though. And this type of would make you think that you were going to rally back up probably to this old zone overhead. But the market had different ideas. And that's why you have hard stops and all of that. The reason I didn't calculate this price down here is simply because if you're trailing a stop, this is probably gonna hit it. In fact, did we get an exit signal? A timely exit signal? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, the first close on the back side, or the north side of a short trade, right here. So this candle closed at 12.0860. So is there still something in it? Sure. Did you leave some of it on the table? Yeah. Do you have to wait for the exit signal? No. When you see this long, just like on the other one, you see this long wick. Now this candle, you see yourself consolidating in the zone, which leads you to believe that, you know, price just may attempt it. And price did. Now, if you had stayed with the trade, but you wouldn't, not if you're attempting to follow the guidelines, but I mean, it did trade lower. And when we get back on the south side of the CFMA1 right here, that's, to me, a valid reentry. Okay. Now, you may not have, that may not be part of your kit bag at this point, but at some point it probably will be. NQ. All right, this is our last one. Oh, I got soybeans. Well, hang on, we'll look at the soybeans. Okay. NQ. I consider being long. 74.10. I put the alerts up for the concierge. I put them up for you guys to take a screenshot if you want one earlier. If anybody missed getting their screenshot, let me know, and I'll put it back up for you. 74.10. Consider being long. 74.10. Oh, look at that. What's the swing high right here? 74.11. Oh yeah. And we had quite a few of those today. All right. Now the session started right here. Okay. Sunday night Globex open. And we said to consider buying 74.10. $20 a point. If you triggered in here, you stopped out. Okay. If you triggered in here, well, the first run up was to 74.43. So that's $600 per contract available. And at 79, that's $690 per contract available. And it got back below the trigger one more time. Important prices, important areas. Now this, in this type of situation, okay, when we're coming up, you might want to decide, you know, are you going to wait for a close? Are you just going to go with it? What are you going to do? Write it down, then do it. But when you're approaching it from the other direction, okay, do I need a close below it and then above it? Or, you know, how am I going to deal with that? Again, there's no right or wrong answer. But whichever method you choose, be consistent. Now, isn't that a cute little head and shoulders? Shoulder, head, shoulder. And interestingly enough, I would draw the neckline right there, right where this is. But that's a buy. And with the head and shoulders, we would be anticipating a break to the downside. Okay. So anyway, $600 per contract available. We never get out at the swing high or swing low because we trail a stop. You might get out at an exact target, okay, but the chance of that target being the exact swing high or swing low, it's pretty slim. It could happen, but if it does happen, just know that it was good fortune and nothing more than that. Okay. So back below the trigger, and this time 34, so $340. That's what the market made available. Okay. Okay, and soybeans, we had put them on a daily. Oh, back WASD. Okay, back on the WASD. We said 850 to 840 if the opportunity presents. Live radio alert. We talked about the fact it was a daily chart when we drew all this up. Swing low. 851 and a quarter. Did this trigger? No, it did not. Could it still trigger? Of course. Now on the alert last night for soybeans, consider buying 861. 861. See, this, you know what? Let me just get rid of all this stuff. I don't see my select all icon. Now let's see what happens when I throw it on a 30-minute. It'll probably do that. Okay, I can work with that. All right. And so the Sunday night Globex Open was this candle right here. That's the Globex Open. Consider buying 861. So if you bought 861, the swing highs 870. So that would be 9 times $50 per point, $450 per contract available. Again, we don't get out at the swing high or swing low, so your stop loss, where you trailed it, that's going to determine how much of the $450 per contract you are entitled to. That's how that works. Get a 30-minute close above, and it flipped right around. Is there any obvious, discernible reason why right here, right now? Oh, I could make some cases. I got my little box. Yeah. Drawing. Support and resistance and support, and now resistance. Yeah, but it traded through it a few times. Yeah, that happens. Doesn't negate the fact that area was previously good support or good resistance. Will it be this time? We wait and see. Now, I think we're going to go to our good word for the day, and then I got to scoot. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. Or if you asked something and it never got answered, then please copy and paste it in the box so that I can address it before I leave. Okay? Last week we were talking about fear. Fear not being the most often repeated phrase in the Bible, according to the guys that actually counted it up. Now, I guess with the digital Bibles, it wouldn't be that hard. In fact, your browser would do it if you use the find tool. Okay. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. Romans 10:17. I had told you that we were going to talk about overcoming fear for 4 days. Yeah, I decided to make it 5. All right. Now, what I do want to say before I go any further, and I don't know how many people picked up on this straight away, but now this is kind of mind-blowing. In fact, I still don't believe it myself, honestly. But since I'm the one who did it, I guess I should accept it.
Come on, buddy. All right.
Never before in the 8.5, almost 9-year history of the weekly trading zones, they have never been released to someone who was not a CFRN partner. But because they are such an integral part of trading the logic alerts, I decided to do it. Okay, now that I may revoke it at any time, but if I do, I will not revoke it from someone that I've already given it to. Okay, so now just saying. Now, because see, with the partners, it's a pretty intimate group. I know everybody, I trust them, and I got to see what's going to happen with my data. You know, I got ways of finding it around the net if somebody's shopping it, and so I got to be on the lookout for that. That's the only reason that I would revoke. Also, there's a typo. Okay. This should not have been there. I intended for it to be here. Not here. Here, not here. Now, for those who took advantage of this, while this was posted this way, of course, we're going to honor that. When I'm done with the show today, I'm going to pull this out, not instantly, because I know some people will go, oh, and will want to take action, and that's fine. So I'll leave this up for a few more hours, but when I come back to work on this, I'll take out this part. On the annual, I will not take it out of the lifetime. Also, if you participated in the beta test, this is not your price, okay? For a very limited time, okay, until we get our retail price guidance and the reports finalized. I'm leaving up this introductory special just because, I don't want to be bumping around on the channel by myself, all right? So, your beta tester, call or email, and I'll send you your proper payment link. We said going into the beta that we were going to, do something nice for the beta testers to make it, worth their time and effort. And I saw some happy faces, so that makes me happy. All right. So this is going to go away from the annual. It's going to remain a part of the lifetime. And if at some point, because somebody's doing something funny with my zones, then if I have to revoke it and go back to partners only, if you received them as part of this offer, I would never revoke it from you. Okay. New people coming in might not get it, but someone that I'm not, yeah. Okay, so now we know. Emini Trading System.com. That is Emini Trading System, singular, not plural, Emini Trading System.com. That's the website. Now from that website, you can click over to the Telegram channels. Now, the one with our night, okay, the one I'm in now, this is the original beta test channel. Everything is exactly as it was, like a museum, okay. Here, I'll take care of that for you, Raymond. Here, this is the Logic 247. This is a public recap of the original beta. So I took everything that happened live in real time and I attempted to put that in a, just the results. I tried to make them easy, and you can click back and forth, and it helps you to do what you got to do. Also, we have the Logic 247 beta test public discussion. So everybody's welcome here. Everybody's welcome here. Everybody's welcome here. The only private channels are the actual current alert channel, and I created a private discussion group, because in that private discussion group we'll be discussing current, ongoing, still in motion alerts, and so you understand. Now, the question that I'm wrestling with is, will I at some point, like say the end of a week, will I take what happened in the live alert channel and put that in a public channel? I don't know, because there's a lot of proprietary methods, proprietary ways of thinking, and even some other proprietary things that are so proprietary I can't even talk about them. Or like Colonel Flag, I'd have to shoot you, and I don't want to do that. I got my good shirt on. So I'll keep you posted, all right? All right. How to overcome fear. Romans 10:17, faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. Every day, fear and faith will arise inside you, and you get to decide which one will prevail. Now think about it. Every day, something's in front of you that could increase your faith or freak you out. You get to decide who wins. An unknown author wrote this: two natures beat within my breast. The one is foul, the other blessed. The one I love, the other hate. The one I feed will dominate. I know it rhymes, but don't let the rhyming cause you to lose the meaning. Two natures beat within my breast. One is foul, the other blessed. One I love, the other hate. The one I feed will dominate. So you've got this fear going on in the left side of your brain and the faith business over in the right side of your brain. If you feed the fear side, it's going to win. And what I mean by feeding the fear side, well, if you're obsessing over the stack of bills, it literally seems to make the stack grow. You've probably seen that commercial, you know. The guy, he's all stressed out at the kitchen table trying to pay the bills, and he's just staring at the stack, and it just keeps getting taller and taller and taller and taller. He's feeding it. If, on the other hand, he was focused on the solution, if he was putting his faith to work on how he'll focus on how you're going to pay the bills, don't focus on the bills. Focus on the solution, not the problem. If you focus on the problem's only going to get worse. If you focus on the solution becomes a good, high probability possibility. The one you feed will dominate. Fear and faith will always be present in your life, and the one you feed will come out on top. You cannot expect fear to simply disappear. If you focus on your fears, entertain them, give in to them, they increase. The way to overcome them is to starve them. Ignore them. Don't give them the time of day. Don't give them your time, your treasure, your energy. Don't feed them with gossip, negative news, reports, or frightening films. Focus on your faith. And each day, now faith, it's not what we believe, right? It's what we do with what we believe. Pistis, an action verb in the original Greek. Focus on your faith. Focus on your faith, and each day feed it through God's word. Romans 10:17 encourages us to do that. The more energy and time you devote to your faith, the stronger it will become. Any time you feel afraid of something, but do it anyway, you reprogram your attitude. In other words, when you feel afraid, it means go instead of stop. It means fight harder instead of give up. The most important step you can take to overcome fear is trusting God to do the thing you think you can't do. No matter how strong a fear may, no matter how strong a hold any fear has on you, the fear can be overcome. I mean, you know, you see it in the movies all the time. I'm not afraid to die. And they're just reading lines, but you get the picture, right? The problem may not go away immediately, but if you activate your faith, the fear of that thing, and that's just a thing. It's a bad thing. It's a big thing. Oh, Lordy. However, 5 years from now, no one will probably ever remember it. And 100 years from now, it won't even be a footnote in history. But today, it's all consuming. It's eating me up. It's eating me alive. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I can't love. I can't live. Because the enemy's got me by the throat, holding me up against the wall, filling every ounce of my existence with his poison. You can worry about things you can't control, or you can trust God. You can worry about things you can control, or you can do something about it. You with me? The most important step you can take if you want to overcome fear is trusting God to do whatever it is that you can't do. But see, you need to bring it to that point. You need to bring it to that precipice. All right, God, I've done everything I can do. You know, I haven't been slouching. I wasn't on the couch watching Springer. No, God, I was turning and burning. But sir, I've done all I can do. Would you help me? He can do what you can't do. And I believe he will do what you can't do if you first do everything that you can. And if he still doesn't do it, it's probably not in your best interest. No matter how much of a stronghold that fear has, it can be overcome. I'm not talking about the problem, I'm talking about the fear. Yeah, but I'm fearful because of the problem. Right, that's two separate things, man. It's like separating your emotions from your trading. Are you a technical trader, a fundamental trader, or an emotional trader? Emotional traders don't last long. Knowing the difference is critical. Fear is in your mind. You know, you've heard it. Ah, it's all in your head. Well, yeah, most things are. Your mind, however, according to the Word of God, can be renewed. So I have this fear-filled mind. I'm pinned against the wall. The enemy's holding me up off the ground. My feet are dangling. If I renew my mind by the Word of God, if I reboot in modern vernacular, sometimes you just got to reboot, right? You've tried everything. You've closed the browser. You've done this. You deleted that program. You turned off the streaming videos, and sometimes you just got to reboot. I'll leave you with this key. Don't be conformed to this world and all its problems, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Romans 12:12. I want me some of that, don't you? I'm gonna get 2 scoops. How about you? Sprinkles? All right, gotta run, gotta run. Thanks so much for tuning in today, this Monday, the 13th day of August 2018. So kind of you to join us. Big of you, big of you. Seriously. My heart skips a beat every time I see you walk into the auditorium. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.